person responsible for the ultimate supervision of work on the parade ground that has caused scarring and has created roads?
That would be me.
Thank you. Because of this, because of the answer to those two questions, I would urge, and it's a big, heavy burden you have, because none of us want to divide this sport. None of us want to get a staff member thinking that we don't care for them. That's not what this is about. This is about thinking about the future of Fort Clark Springs and our grandchildren and anyone who would want to come here. I ask the board to declare a moratorium on any demolition or change to association property for whatever length of time you deem appropriate until a board-approved process or policy is in place. And I would urge you to consider an ad hoc committee. And I so appreciate your time, and I appreciate the listeners' time. Thank you very much. Sandy?
Sandy Hagan, Unit 27. Couple of things. I agree, we need a plan. Our historical buildings are important to us, there's no doubt, but we have other issues that have to be taken care of as well. Not all of us came here because of the historical buildings. There are members that find that really cool to live around, but we're not here for that reason. So there are different opinions out there. I agree, we should tackle the actual designated areas first. Those buildings that actually have been designated as historical by both either the county or the state themselves that we have to protect. Then we need to identify those areas that are not designated, and those should be our second concern. As far as the parade ground, I'm a little confused about the historical part of this. Number one, I think the Historical Society really should have been concerned about the integrity of the historical, yeah, maybe even hysterical value of the parade ground when they or whoever decades ago allowed the par 3 to be constructed there. The par 3 changed the parade grounds. If we take out the mounds and we fix those parts of those things, that just restores it to the flat area it was before. So this concern about removing a mound to get dirt to plant trees doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, because if we were concerned about the historical value of that playground, then we should never have allowed the par 3 to be constructed there. At that point, I think Historical Society kind of lost its control of that. I do agree we need to take care of our common property and that we should have a plan. Now, our governing documents actually say that we cannot sell or lease or build or do anything on common property without the voters being involved in this. But there are certain types of things that need to be done on our common property that we can't wait for policy to be put together on it. Those are emergency efforts, trees coming down, other storm damage, floods, whatever. We need to come up with a good policy, but we can't abandon our care of those properties waiting for a policy. Okay? There are some things. And by our governing documents, Alan really is the person that determines this. This is the daily operations of the fort. Yes. And actually, I think the trees are going to help that because right now it looks terrible. Now, I don't quite understand. There may be a problem with some trees being too close to the road as far as getting sufficient water or the heat from the asphalt. But I don't think trees are going to devalue that area, I think they're going to actually make it look better. So, anyway, my thoughts. Personally, mine.
Thank you.
That disturbs me that the gentleman that brought this up just left when the rest of this discussion is happening, so, sorry. I have something to say. We have. I'm sorry, did Ben go? Okay, sorry, you go first. Okay.
Chris, can I add something to that? He's involved in the auction and Fort Clark days, so I don't believe it's related to.
Also, people can come and go.
That's fine, that's fine.
There's no restriction to stay here.
I stand corrected.
Morning. Curtis Benham. You mentioned that it's within Alan's purview to change stuff on the fort. I've been hearing a lot of different conversations, and I agree that there are some things that are daily operations. What isn't daily operations? As near as I can tell, anything Mr. Peterson chooses to do is said to be daily operations. If that's the case, what do we need the board for? I think that's the question here. There are several. One of them is we need to have a policy to decide when Mr. Peterson or whomever can move forward on something. And I don't think we have that now. I think a lot of decisions are made at the employee level, and then you guys are left trying to explain them. Mr. Peterson works for you, you guys work for us. And I think that you all should be deciding on what is daily operations, and I bet you there's not a list that says this is daily operations and this isn't, and that's part of the problem. Do you?
There is.
Is there?
Tell me your name.
Curtis Benham.
It's
Where is it?
It's his employment agreement.
Is that publicly available? And is everything in the
That would be HR.
It's also in the bylaws. It's in the bylaws too.
there's a lot of people that don't.
And the entire board knows what those items are.
Can you run them up, five of them?
I think communication is the problem.
Oh, get it, right.
Well, that's so that they will know, so they will know. So they will know. So that's your
Okay,
opinion.
all right, let's get back to the discussion. Did you have anything else?
I think that the board should be in charge of some process that says that if work is going to be done or if a change is going to be made to what is considered a historic area, that there's at least communication between Mr. Peterson and the board, and then at some point, a decision has to be made at what level the community is going to be involved in. Because things are happening that the community is finding out after the fact. Oh, gee, somebody just took a bulldozer and tore up a bunch of stuff. Now, I understand that in the case of some of the tee boxes, there was an email that went to the board that said we're doing this in order to get a couple of, or get some dirt for the trees.
Correct.
Fine, but the scope of that work seems to have gone far beyond what that original email that even Travis or Director Huey mentioned.
The things that were,
he was at.
the things, no, you want to ask something. The things that were taken out were exactly circled, exactly the ones that came out. No difference, nothing else.
So far, but it's been put out that the whole part three stuff, the whole part threes are coming away. So I don't think that was ever communicated.
I haven't said that.
You went to a men's coffee and said that you were getting rid of the par threes. You were asked about that. That's what started with
I
that.
think I said it would be a good idea.
No, sir. You said it was a defined. I was there.
So were other people, and they said
Yeah.
that's not what I said.
I don't know that we've had that discussion with other people, but that's what I heard.
There were about 10 people there,
Yeah.
Director, give
and
me-
they all apologized for me for your diatribe the last time you spoke, because that's not what
Here?
I said.
It is what you said. You said that it was coming out, we couldn't afford it. You threw a number out of $100,000. Now the number's $70,000, but it was $40,000. So there's an awful lot of information being thrown around here, and part of that is caused, I think, by the fact that the
Point
board.
of order. Nobody gets up to the mic and just goes on their own personal thing with the general manager or anybody else on this board.
Oh, please. Everybody does. Everybody has, you've got a fair to express your own opinion. I get to express an opinion.